Good morning, everyone, and welcome this morning to the Harbours Subcommittee on Thursday, the 4th of November. This meeting is being live streamed and, as normal, will be recorded and made available for viewing through the Council website. Can I remind members of the Good Practice Guide, which I'm sure you'll all be aware of, which includes muting microphones and switching off your video when you're not addressing the meeting. Now, I don't think there's any members that aren't attending virtually, so if you wish to speak, if you could write chat in the chat function, I'll bring you in order. And equally, if officers are looking to come in to add to any of the points that you've not been called for, again, just write chat, that would be helpful. So the usual standing orders will apply, including that any votes will be taken under roll call. And if anyone has to leave the meeting for any reason, can I remind you to either leave the Teams meeting for that period, or you can write leave in the Teams chat function and then join. So we've got a couple of reports before us today, so we'll get on with the meeting. I'll just also confirm, as chair, I am happy to approve the remote attendance for this committee. So item number 1 is our SEDR apologies and my approval of the remote participation. Tracy, can you provide us with the SEDR and any apologies that you've received, please?
Yes, morning. Thank you, Chair. We've got 5 members present, all on Teams, and we've got 2 members not present at the start of the meeting, which is Councillor Brodie and Councillor Giusti. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. So our second item, any declarations of interest that members wish to note or have noted? Nope. Okay, and so item number 3 is the minute of the previous meeting of the 2nd of September, and we're looking to approve that minute today. So hopefully all members have had a chance to go through that, and if members are happy to approve, can I get a proposer? Or if
happy to propose, Chair.
Perfect. So I have got, who have I got looking to come in? William Heaps, I've got you looking to come in. Would you like to come in on the minute from the last meeting?
Good morning, Chair. Just note that I was present at the meeting and I did speak, and it's not recorded anywhere. Don't know if that's important, but for your information.
Right, I'm not sure on that one. Tracy, do we record everybody who was present, or is it just members and council officers?
Yes, Chair. William should be included under in attendance, so I'll get that updated. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So we'll move on if members are happy to agree. Those, as I say, that's been proposed by Councillor Young. So our first substantive item on the agenda is agenda item number 4, which is our Harbours matters, and this is the Harbour Revision Order update, which, as we all know, it's been an ongoing situation. So I will maybe pass over to officers if there's anything that you wish to update at this point.
Thank you, Chair. There's nothing to update on this, but I would advise that we have both Robin Fletcher and Stephen Herriot here to take questions on it, as well as myself and Will Jones. So any questions, happy to take.
Thank you. I'll open it up to members. Is anybody wishing to raise any points in regards to this item? Councillor Young, I see a hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for letting me in. We're making slow progress in this, very slow progress, but I hope we're getting there. The big disappointment is even once our submission is lodged, it's going to take probably a further 10 months. Hopefully we'll get it lodged very shortly. I'm a wee bit concerned, item 3.7 on page 40, an advocate who previously provided opinion work to the council. Now, I think we deserve, as a committee, more information than that. Who is this advocate? How was this person appointment? Was proper procurement procedures carried out? It's just a wee bit vague, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Young. yeah, I don't know which one of the officers there is able to respond to that, but I think it is a pertinent point, especially considering the work that we have done in terms of procurement, etc. So, Robin, I see your camera's come on. So, are you taking the lead on this one?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. Thanks, Councillor Young. In relation to advocates as opposed to solicitors, in our current procurement standing orders, we have provisions whereby they can be directly appointed by legal services. Now, obviously, we go through a process. We don't just take a random advocate, depending on the nature of the work. Sometimes we'll seek a range of advocates, usually maybe 3, sometimes to get a range of estimates and to look at the respective skills where they have close skills and experience ranges and the type of thing we're working for. In this particular case, as we had come across work which had been done a few years ago, which actually led to some of the work on the Harbours revision orders taking place by a particular advocate with expertise in that area, then it was appropriate to use that advocate again on this because they'd already covered the ground, so it would be cheaper going back to them and getting further follow-up work on it. And they have that knowledge, and obviously that led to some of the things which we have been doing. So very much depends on the situation. In this situation, we've got our guarantee of the economically best route by using someone who's very familiar with the material and who can immediately add value to the current phase which we're looking at, which is checking some of the stuff that we've done and then making any observations on anything which we need to add in addition to the order, or which we should tweak or change. And then the intention going forward would be that once we've submitted the order, that we potentially retain them in the background so that at a future stage of the order, should we come across any issues, should there be objections coming up, that we have some expertise to bring in there quickly to assist us with that and make sure that we don't get held up on particular, arcane issues going forward. So that would be the plan, and hopefully that's satisfactory for the committee. Sorry, I do apologise. The name of the advocate is Mr. Sutherland. Sorry, I forgot to mention. You asked for the name.
Thank you. Councillor Young, did you want to come back on that, or are you?
No, I think I'll come back, Chair, if you don't mind. So obviously this, Mr. Sutherland had previously worked on this. I wonder how he was selected in the first place. I just want reassurance that there is a procedure and that procedure was followed. And I'm not quite sure if a procedure was actually followed in appointing this particular advocate. I'd be very reassured to know there's a written procedure that the council follows when they're procuring services, even if these services are procured from somebody as mighty as an advocate. Thank you.
Yeah, as I say, in the procurement standing orders, appointments of advocates and solicitor advocates, and in certain cases, solicitors' firms can be made in relation to litigation, because quite often you need to go quickly for litigation, or you have a situation where you can't use certain firms because they're on the other side of litigations and so on, or particular advocates. So there is that kind of exemption from the normal financial limits and other processes for other types of procurement within the standing orders. And the procurement is given to legal services, because that's felt to be the best place for the selection of those types of skills, and we manage that process. In it, obviously, what I have done is, in addition to that, made sure that when we do appoint advocates, we follow a process depending on what we're trying to do, which is best for those circumstances, to ensure we're getting the right person and also that we're getting best value. And in this particular case, given that work had been done before on the complex title position and the legislation of the James V, James VI period, this person had an existing knowledge bank which they could apply straight away, which other advocates wouldn't have. And that's often what leads to the appointment of an advocate on subsequent work, when they've already done work for you of a specialist type. Then it makes sense to follow that up, because someone else isn't restarting that or coming to that from a kind of zero baseline. In terms of how this particular advocate was appointed a number of years ago, which was before my time, I can't comment on that. But what I can reassure you is the work that was produced was very good and has assisted us in the position that we're going down now. And I'm confident that this is the correct approach in this particular case. If we were starting this from scratch, I'd be looking for advocates of a certain skill type in these areas, certain experience levels, and I would get at least 3 of them recommended from the respective stables that I found them in, and then I would be comparing estimates and their approach to that.
Thank you, Robin, for that very full answer. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yes, I guess my thoughts on this, Robin, on the back of Councillor Young, is, I think it's really important that we as a committee, especially because of the work that the council has been done, is to ensure that all our procurement processes are followed. And if you're confirming that, yes, the procurement processes have followed, I think that's really helpful to note. So I've got Councillor Drysdale looking to come in. Pauline.
Morning, Chair. Morning, everybody. Actually, it's more relevant to the design, which is the previous agenda item number 3. So I'm just going to ask the question, Katie. Can I get in touch with Stephen Herriot or James McLeod with regards to previously discussed agenda item number 3? Because obviously we weren't able to discuss that. With regards to the design of the new Harbour, I just email them directly. What's my best point of contact? Thanks.
My advice would certainly be to do that, but just to confirm with James or Stephen that you're happy for any member to contact you if they've got concerns or questions.
Yes, Chair. Is this, Councillor Drysdale, is this with regards to the design of the Stranraer Marina, the presentation that was given at the last?
Yeah, it was. I apologise, I wasn't at the meeting, so I'll just email you and I can copy them. That's okay.
Yeah, Councillor Drysdale, you're probably best to contact Simon Fieldhouse in that regard. It's an economic development-led project, so if you were to contact him, he would probably be quicker answering. I would probably just pass it straight on to him. So,
okay, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. I'm just wondering, while we have Robin with us, we do have a couple of bullet points on page 39, and that was to get an update on the needs, or the 3 bullet points in our report today. Robin, are you able to give us an update and expand on any of these, please? Not sure if we perhaps lost Robin Fletcher. If Robin's not able to come in, I don't know. Oh, no, you're being unmuted. No, you're fine, Robin.
Switched off my camera and microphone. I was looking for the report. Got that now.
as members are aware, and as you're aware, Robin, we are keen, and as Councillor Young has already pointed out, there's concerns over the time. So if you are able to just give us an update on these 3 bullet points specifically.
Okay, so what we have done is taken a view on those particular repeal areas and reflected that in a draft, and it's the draft which is being consulted with the advocate to see whether believe that those views are correct, or if there's any other additional procedures that need to be gone through or anything changed in that. So that's the process that we're going to be going through shortly, and then following that we'll have further discussions with partners and Scottish Government on that. We have a meeting next week and with the Scottish Government that James has arranged, and that meeting is principally to look at the timelines involved in the overall order process and to get an idea of what things we need to do at certain stages and see if there's any ways of accelerating any of those or looking at that. So that's what that's for. There will be other meetings subsequently, and I have to speak to James about the timing of some of those, because obviously we want the right things to feed into those meetings to firm up in those areas. So that's overall where we are at the moment.
Thank you, Robin. I think it would be appropriate to keep members updated, because we don't have another meeting until the 1st of March, and that will be potentially, unless we have to call an extra meeting, the last meeting of the Harbours subcommittee. And I know members are very keen to find or to get this to a point of resolution. So we'll send us an update, a monthly update, and it would be maybe helpful for yourself to liaise with Will to make sure that we get the most up-to-date position with our Harbours on where we are with that. But I don't see any other members looking to come in. So if we're move to actions before us, which is recommendation 2.1, which is noting the current position, and 2.2, which is to note the next steps in completing the Harbours Revision Order. Are members happy to note these?
Agreed.
Thank you, Councillor Marshall. So moving on to item number 5. So we have got a report on the Port Marine Safety Code review audit, which was undertaken by the designated person. We have William Heaps on the phone today, or on the call today, I should say. So I would just first of all go to William, to officers. Is there anything that you wish to add to the report just now?
Chairman, not from myself. The written report's there, and but I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, William. I don't know if we've got any other officers wishing to come in.
Yeah. Yes, Chair. Nothing to add to the report, and as William says, happy to take questions.
Thank you. I think it's a really comprehensive report, and thank you, William, for your input in this. And I am pleased to see that in certainly the findings, we have got down a priority of actions that we do need to take forward. But do any members wish to come in at this point? Councillor Young, and then I've got Councillor Johnson, both hands going up.
Thank you, Chair. I wonder if we could have an update on the staffing position, because point 3.9 shows a concerning situation with sickness and resignations. So could we have a brief update on the staffing situation?
Thanks, Chair.
Yep, go ahead, Stephen.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. Yeah, it's something, a situation we're monitoring closely, because it is quite an impact on what is quite a small team in terms of running the harbour service. And certainly the report indicates that through the audit we have a direction of travel for the kind of strategic work that the Regional Harbour Master has to take forward. But at the present time, our priority has to be on that continued safe operation of our harbours assets in areas. and that will be the focus of the Regional Harbour Master until we kind of resolve the vacancy that we've got and manage the situation around the staff absence situation. We, at previous subcommittee, we had reported on the recruitment for boat lift operations, and Will advises me that we have one person appointed to that casual post to assist in some of those operations. I'm just giving Will some extra support with one of my other service managers who's taken a strategic view of roads and infrastructure in terms of resources and training and recruitment, just to assist with that recruitment process on additional casual labour work for boat operations. We're also looking at assistance to Will on the replacement of the senior harbour assistant and the vacancy that's referenced in the report. In addition to that, not with success yet, I have been looking within the road service and the community assets service just to look at that kind of operational support that can be provided. And on the community side, I'll push a bit harder on that in terms of the operational staff that we have and just the priorities across the whole service in terms of the safe operation of the harbours and how we prioritise that. So it's a piece of work that's ongoing on a number of fronts, and it's recognised that Will and the team that he has on the ground are stretched at the moment, and we need to respond to that, and that the priority, as I said, is delivering on less of the strategic and more of the safe operational aspects of the harbours.
Thank you, Stephen. I think that is a really important point to be making. Clearly, members often are looking at strategic rather than operational, but with the Harbour Subcommittee, it's a slight different angle that we're coming ahead. But I think it's really important that we do note that the priority is looking at those aspects of safety, because that is our responsibility. So thank you. Councillor Young, were you looking to come back, or are you happy with that response?
No, I'm very happy with that full answer. Like you, I'm very aware of staffing concerns probably across all departments in the council at the moment. But that was a very full answer, and the priorities are correct. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson, I see your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I was very interested in this audit. As you said earlier, it's very comprehensive. I was pleased that Stephen focused on safety here, because this is my concern here. We've got a bit of a history with the harbours of not actually having defined timescales. I understand the difficulty with staff. I'm well aware of the issues, but I think I would be kind of slightly failing in my duty if I didn't try and establish some form of timescales for these various outstanding works. You've got high, medium and low. Does high mean it's going to be done within the next 2 months, or does it mean it's going to be done before the next meeting? When will medium be done, and when will low be done? I would like an actual timetable, because I get the feeling sometimes with this that we do have a lot of drift. We've just discussed the Harbour Revision Order and trying to nail down a timescale for that. And again, I know there's reasons for it, but it's been difficult. And the other question is for William Heaps. Is there any of these items that were in the previous audit and have been carried forward?
Thank you, Malcolm. I think it is pertinent to know what exactly high, medium and low is. So I think if we can get a response on that, and then I'll bring in William.
Yes, thank you, Chair, through yourself. Councillor Johnson, item the paragraph 3.6 sets out the timeframes for high, medium and low, with high being 3 months, medium being 6 months and low being 12 months, with a caveat on the second one, which is a high priority, but the footnote indicates that it will take a longer time to complete than the 3 months, but it will be started within the 3 months. William can potentially fill in on more details on items that have been carried over, but yes, a number of items have been carried over. Clearly the Loch Ryan Harbour Revision Order as an example. But I'll pass on to William Heaps, and he can discuss that maybe in a little bit further detail.
Thank you, James. Yes, so Really, I would echo the answer James just given. A number of the actions have been carried over, and that tends to be indicated in the report, but it continues to be recommended. So I think where you see those words, you can see which ones they are. However, I would go back and again echo what Stephen has just said, that I was very content that safety critical actions were being met, and you know, it's more strategic level actions that have been carried over. So I'm not concerned about non-compliance with non-marine safety code. I'm not concerned that the harbours are dangerous places, but there is an amount of work to be done that needs to be prioritised, and those priorities, as Stephen has said, are correct.
Thank you, William. I'll bring Will in and then come back to you, Malcolm, if that's okay.
Thanks very much, Chair. I think I need to leave my computer on mute and speak through the... Yeah, I think that's better. Camera off. Sorry. Right, there we go. You can take the boy off the pig farm, but it doesn't necessarily work the other way around. Very good morning, everybody. Just to add to what James and William Heaps have said, James pointed out that the high, medium and low timeframes for, I think what we'll all agree is a very comprehensive report from William. And just to reassure you a little bit more, the firm have had a debrief on this, gone through everything during the audit, and what needs doing when. The powers in the Kuberey HRO, Stephen was talking earlier about focusing on operational as opposed to strategic stuff at the moment. That's kind of a little bit unavoidable at the moment. So that I haven't addressed so far, although we are still moving forward with the Stranraer HRO and moving towards that. The other high priorities have all been addressed or started being addressed. The signage in the Maccas is something that I wanted to consult the person who works there every day on before finalising what I'm going to do. He's returned from a fairly lengthy absence related to complications with COVID. So that's, I've been through all the action points we have for the Maccas with him since he returned to work a couple of weeks ago now. We have already put in place harbour watch checks such as we have at Kuberey. Sorry, we do harbour watch checks anyway for the Maccas, but these are now recorded electronically, which is one of the high priority action points that we had. The signage, like I say, is already underway as well. So the high priorities I am trying to work through, despite the fact that we do have some significant HR issues at the moment due to somebody leaving the service and somebody being on sick leave. So I am on it and moving forward with stuff which is high priority, and then I have other stuff to start. On Monday this week, the start of the Marine Safety Plan and review of the oil spill plans, so we are progressively working through stuff as and when we can.
Thank you, Will. I'll bring you back in, Councillor Johnston, if you would like to come back at all.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chair. That's a comprehensive answer. I see the dates up there. I was aware of that. What I was really hinting at was, when did the clock start ticking? When was the thing presented? And what I would like to ask, Chair, if you don't mind, is on our next meeting, can we get an update on progress?
I think that would be entirely appropriate, absolutely, because our next meeting will be in approximately 4 months, so we'll have passed the 3-month time. But officers, are somebody be able to confirm that?
Through yourself, Chair, yes. Councillor Johnston, I can confirm that we will provide an update at the next meeting on the progress. The priority in terms of this was from the date of the audit and So William has been working with Will on these, and as you can see, some progress has been made as Will has described, some of which has been slightly impacted by sickness absence and a need for the team to focus on day-to-day safety operations rather than the more strategic items detailed in William's report and summarised in the committee report.
Thank you, James. Does any other member wish to come in at this point? I don't see any hands or anything in the chat. We will note that under accountability of the duty holder, we have got that it is recommended that when circumstances allowed that we should visit a port. Well, I know in the past we have done, so I think it will be helpful to commence that activity. So, but if members are just able to note at the moment the provisional date for the next committee is, I believe, the 3rd of March. I was just checking the diary there. No, the 1st of March, excuse me. So we will look to potentially arrange a visit to one of the ports at that point as well. But, oh, James, I see your hand has popped up. Don't know if that's a legacy hand or a new hand.
Thank you, Chair. No, it's a new hand. It was just to suggest that we were looking at potentially holding subcommittee in Kakubri at that time to just to have a look again at Kakubri Harbour. I mean, I appreciate the members have all been to the harbours, but it's that kind of, you know, looking at it. I mean, I go out on a reasonably regular basis. There's opportunities to see new stuff, to remember stuff, you know, to kind of jog the memory on things and go, oh, well, why are we doing this, or what's that there for? So I think Kakubri Harbour is as good as any, and we would look to get the chambers there. So I'll make arrangements with colleagues, and hopefully we'll be all able to meet in that facility by then, COVID wise. But I still think there's a real importance, as William Heaps has pointed out, that attendance at the harbours is useful. I would extend that as well to suggest that obviously any members of Harbour Sub, or in fact any members wishing to visit the harbours individually, that's obviously always available, and just to make contact with Will for that, if that would be of benefit.
Thank you, James. I think that is appropriate. Just to reiterate to members that, you know, we can do that, and that can be arranged on an individual basis. So yeah, if nobody else is looking to come in, I don't see anybody else or any other hands. We can move to the recommendations on item number 5, which is to note the findings of the Port Marine Safety Code and the audit of. And also to agree that the focus of the Regional Harbour Master should be to address the actions, noting the priority as detailed in Table 1, but also the staffing challenges as detailed in paragraph 3.9. Are members happy to note and agree these?
Happy.
Thank you, Councillor Brodie.
Happy.
Thank you. So item number 6, if there's any other business, which I don't have any other business that is deemed urgent. So in that case, I will draw the committee to a close, and thank you members and officers for your time today.